Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on August 23rd. I got to tell you, the date is always a challenge with me. And I've also got a problem. It's kind of a cloudy day here, and I like using the sunshine. And I look kind of ghost-like today. I tried to adjust my color, but because I was already in here, the software didn't. So if I look like a ghost, I'm sorry. It is still summer, but it's cold here today. In fact, I'll just let you know that I put on a pair of sweatpants just before the show started. I was wearing shorts, okay? Just in case you get the wrong idea. I was wearing shorts, but I was cold. We have a guy today who's come on. I don't know what's happened to him. He had a revelation. He woke up some morning. He said, I'm going to be on the Recruiting Animal Show. Because I'm pretty sure I asked him a long time ago, and he's been on every other show. But now he says, no, here's what happened. He said, I'm good enough now. I'm good enough to be on the Recruiting Animal Show. So
I had to pump myself up. I don't even know how I wasn't a member of the group even on Facebook. And now I'm a member of the group. So
well, don't feel bad because my show is the least popular show. I think it's great, and I think I post. He's a. I won't get ahead of it, but he's a LinkedIn consulting expert. He's like we had Joe Mullings on a few times, who you know. Yeah. And Joe Mullings is an acolyte of Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary made his father's wine store popular by being on all kinds of social media, like 24 hours a day. I think he took it into the bedroom with him, right? And he just pounded it, and he became famous. And now he is famous for pep talks, okay? He's like the grand old man. And Joe went and studied with him. Joe spends $500,000 having a film crew follow him around the world, okay? And Joe and says this is the way you build your. I thought my initial presentation would be better than this, but it isn't. Okay, you build your brand on social media. Let people, demonstrate your expertise. Let people get to know you. And then they'll want to do business with you. When you call them up, it'll be a warm call. It won't say, hey, who the hell's the Recruiting Animal? Oh, yeah, I've seen your stuff, and I hate it. That's what with me, okay? They don't like my stuff. But Joel, he says, don't worry. Joel says, don't worry about what you're posting. And I've taken some of his most bland posts to prove it, okay? He just says, content. Get your name out there, and you're going to do business. Okay, Joel, you don't know how the Recruiting Animal Show works. You're free to interrupt me. You're free to say, hey, Animal, you are misrepresenting me. You're wrecking my brand in the first 5 minutes of the show.
I want to see some of these posts. I want to see
it to me, okay?
Can you share some of these posts? Let me just read through some of these posts.
I will share them, but now I'm going to introduce you. His name is how do you say your last name? Lalgee?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're probably the first person that's ever got it right. So
he's kind of diverse. I think he's English living in the United States. Okay, I don't know if he gets the extra. Hi, Gamal, look who's here, Michael.
What's up, Michael?
G Cox. Hi.
You are Michael.
Okay, Joel, you've got MarioTheRecruiter.com.
Nice to see you back, man. Yo,
happy to be back.
The SalesRecruiter.com. Well, you've got your own. What's your website now, Michael G. Cox?
It's still your favorite name, Zagworks.
No, you got a better one. You took advice from me after a year. You've got a better URL now.
Still Zagworks. I've got the SalesRecruiter.com.
Yeah, okay.
Good one.
Joel. I don't want to call him Lowell now. Okay, Joel, isn't the SalesRecruiter.com better than ZAGWORX? Yes, Joel.
I would say so.
1,000 times better.
Animal, thank you for using the American Z versus Z. Much appreciated.
I have an international audience. Everybody's not Canadian. They can't be like me. Okay, as honored as I am to be Canadian. Okay, now Joel, what is your famous? We're going to judge you on your domain name. What is it?
realistrecruiter.com.
So louder? Come on.
Like you can see it right up here. realistrecruiter.com. But it's not active right now. Look, I will tell you this. I don't even have a website. I got
that reminds me of JT O'Donnell when she first started. She had career realism. Remember that one?
Yeah,
That's
I didn't like that, but she was so appealing when she was on this show. I had people calling me after and saying I would like to marry her. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
I did too. I felt that way too, but I knew she was married with 2 lovely kids. Okay,
Yes, she's awesome.
okay, but something's wrong with your mic today. You've been away so long, you don't know how to use it anymore. Okay, it stinks.
No,
It's like
Okay.
it's echoey.
I can smell it all the way up here in heaven, Michael G. Cox.
Yeah. David M Marr. Okay, let's introduce David M Marr. I forgot he still doesn't want a domain name, doesn't believe in it. I preach it. Okay, so realistrecruiter.com. I got to tell you, I've watched a lot of videos. He's talked to everybody else before us, and they're very impressive. They're very informative. They're good, but he can't give us a domain name. Even this one he's got isn't active. Why not?
I don't need it. It's look, when I thought of starting up the business, I'm like, why do I need a website? I mean, my LinkedIn, my TikTok, my social media, that's the website right there. I will eventually have a website, but right now I just have a booking link right on my LinkedIn profile. Yeah. And I'm booked out for 2 months. So it's just
if
like,
I call you a dummy, will you get offended? Because if you're sensitive like that,
no.
You're a dummy. You're a dum-dum, okay? Get that. Just go to GoDaddy or whatever. It's registered.
Well, I own the domain. I
Point it to your LinkedIn. Point it to your LinkedIn. Yes. Since your LinkedIn page is the main thing, point it to your LinkedIn.
Or your TikTok.
But if that's what I don't get. It's like, why would I have people go to a website to bring back to
LinkedIn. Well, hold on, Joel. Say you go to a party. This isn't what I expected to be talking about, but I can edit it out, okay? Because I learned how to finally use a video editor, okay? Joel, if you're at a party and they say, Joel, what do you do? Okay, you're talking to some VP of HR or recruiting or something like that. And you'll say, I'm a LinkedIn consultant. I'm a social media marketing consultant for recruiters. And where can I get in touch? Find you? Okay. Well, spelling your last name is difficult. But if you say realistrecruiter.com, that's not that hard to remember. And you point it to your LinkedIn, they'll remember. Okay. If you don't think that's smart, don't think that's smart, and you don't learn something from this show, I can't help you. Okay. I've been talking 5 minutes steady. Does anybody else want to say something? No?
Let's see your greatest dance move, animal.
Yeah. Okay. I've got no room to dance here. Okay. We talked about praying for money before we turned the recording on, so I won't talk about that now. Okay. But here's Joel's.
Pray for money.
Put that to the side for now, Mario. Listen to me.
Okay.
Look,
do I sound a little bit better?
You want more money? You gotta pray for it. That's my strategy.
Okay. You are a social media marketing cheerleader. Your main message is building your brand is your best investment because it's your most valuable asset, and your strategy is the most important thing. Is posting a lot. The content is secondary. Am I right so far, Joel?
100%. Look, when I meet with people, no one's ever mentioned a specific post. Most people don't even, they don't mention anything specific. All they ever say is, I've seen your content. And so in my mind, I'm like, yeah, obviously you want to make sure you're not just posting nonsense that's not valuable. But look, you're up against a lot of competition. I do not think people are sitting around on LinkedIn, Twitter, and then that's all they're doing, right? It's like they're going to Netflix afterward. They're going to Hulu. They're going to go watch other content. What I'm trying to create is just, do they know who you are? And it's going to result in
hold on.
They like you or they hate you.
You challenged me. I just want to express, though, again, to see, it's such a joy to see Michael G. Cox after such a long time. Okay. I'm sure Mario and David M. Marr agree with me. Okay. I'm really happy. I'm happier to see him than you, Joel. I'm happy to see Joel, but
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does it sound a little bit better?
A little bit better.
A little, but you're washed out. What do you got? Extra lighting there? You look like a ghost. Okay.
Better.
Okay. Joel challenged me a few minutes ago. Tell me some of my postings that are bland. Okay, well, I will. Okay, because I did my research, Joel, in case you didn't. Tell me. Okay, here's an example. Career hack. Knowing how to get stuff done. Action is greater than planning. I don't know. Is that so smart? Is that out of the book of Proverbs or something like that? What's so great about it?
I mean, look, that's actually from a podcast I listened to. And they said that, like, look, people, and I've noticed this. I work with consultants who run their own businesses, and they're so caught up in planning. They're trying to figure out, like, what's the new tech stack? What's the tool I'm going to use? I'm like, dude, you need to get some sales. So do something. Like, don't plan. And I think so many times I work with teams and they plan. And all that time planning, they could have done 20 things that would have brought them closer to the goal.
So it's just me that's stupid, okay? He really said something so profound that it slams you in the face, but Recruiting Animal didn't find it exciting enough. Joel, you're doing something that David M Marr does. And, since he's hiding, I don't have to correct him now. He tries to get his face as low as possible on the screen. Okay, don't do that. You're on camera, okay?
All right, here we go. I'll look right at the camera.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. And okay, here's another one. Okay. Let me see.
Grace us with his holy presence.
What?
Hello, Your Holiness. I was being
I'm
sarcastic.
Your Holiness. Okay, great. I don't get it. Okay.
David and Marr Holiness. I was
Okay.
being sarcastic.
Okay. You also say don't worry about posting too much. Okay. People are always worried that they'll have too much content and they'll overwhelm their followers. Trust the algorithm. It has a similar goal to you. Your goal is people viewing your content. Their goal is having people stay on the platform. That's LinkedIn you're talking about. So is there a limit? Is there no limit to how much you should post?
I'm going to say no to this one. Because look, again, like I got like 1,800 videos on TikTok in 6 months.
Would you agree that there should be some sort of a quality content filter, though?
He thinks this stuff is great. I challenge him. He's an animal. That's
Like
terrific,
that last pearl of wisdom. I feel like Joel might have posted something that is like, well, no shit. Doing is better than planning. Okay, but honestly, does that?
But we're
really
too old.
anything?
Michael G. Cox, we've probably seen that because we're older, seen it like a million times, but he's dealing with younger people as well who are dumb. Okay. They're ignorant. Am I right, Joel?
I think like my general thought is people are gonna consume the content they want to consume. And so like, if you don't like my content, you just scroll by. Right. And so I think my whole goal is just awareness. And I will tell you the truth, like people, when they're scrolling social media, they are mindlessly scrolling social media. Like nobody's searching for if you want to search for something, you go to Google or you go to YouTube and you search for it. So you got to make sure you've got quality content that can be searched for. But when they're scrolling social media, trust me, I watch people scroll social media in coffee shops. It's mindless scrolling, which is why bland content does well. So I mix some of that in. I'm big on humor because people relate to humor. I don't know anybody that doesn't relate to humor. But I think people go, well, I put together this really valuable blog and it got 1 like. That's because no one was scrolling social media to read something boring. They're literally on there because they're bored in their job and they're looking for something that's entertaining or interesting or makes them feel good. And that's why like really basic posts, that's why they go viral. That's why all of those posts about hire people without experience. I'm not saying you should do that, but it's just how it works.
You almost set me off with that last one, dude. Careful.
Well, Michael G. Cox has.
What's that dude's name? He's half English, half American, and he's written all the books. He says dumb shit like hire for attitude, not for experience.
Sinek.
You can train skill. I'm like, man, shut up. He doesn't even do that.
I think you gotta go with awareness. For example, like for me, I've just reached out to so many people, and I'm reaching out to higher level people now, right? Because I'm trying to develop a business. Every single one of them is like, yeah, I've seen your content around. None of them have been like, hey, I remember that tweet from 2 weeks ago about whatever you just read. They just know my face, and they know at some point they've seen me, and I've got that trust. And then when I have a conversation with them, that's when I present them the data of like how social media works, and I convert them into the training. So
okay, but just Michael G.
And
Cox.
by the way, that trust that he mentioned, that stuff does work, and I think it's just like a small percentage of trust. Like
well, that's all you need.
Like the very beginning of trust, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, you like, because I think like I was in a sales call with someone the other week, and they were like, "Well, how do I convert this into business?" And I'm like, "You learn how to sell on a sales call." I'm like, "How did we get on this call?" "Well, I saw some of your content. We booked a call." "Okay, do you have your checkbook out? Are you paying me?" "No, I'm having to sell you now." So I think like you still have to sell, but it just gets you over that initial cold call or the cold email. And outreach right now is
the first
insane.
7 seconds of a call.
Yeah, and then you got to prove to them like you can execute. You got to show them some data, like, hey, I work. And so I think with recruiters, same thing, right? You want them to know who you are. You want candidates, you want clients to know who you are, and then when you get them on the call, you got to show what have you done, how have you done it, what's your process, whatever your differentiator is. All the content is doing is just warming them up. That's literally how I look at it, which is why I'm not so concerned about one piece of content. I'm just concerned about, do people know me? And they don't. They hate me, great. I'm never working with that guy anyway. If they like me, awesome. It's an easier call.
Okay, Michael G. Cox, just you came in late. This guy's half English and half American, okay? Before
He's the guy I was talking about.
Okay.
Cynic.
And he's got a nice tan. You're not supposed to get tans anymore, but you got where are you located, Joel Lalgee?
I'm in Wisconsin, but my granddad, he's from Trinidad. So that's in the Caribbean.
Oh, so that's not a tan. Okay, sorry everybody.
No, it is. It comes out in the summer big time.
Okay.
I'm half Mexican. I'm not even looking that healthy.
Yeah, okay.
Stay in the shadow or something. There you go.
Okay, so you know what? Let me just pick up on something you said. Does anybody else? I'll put up my question. Then, no. Anybody else want to say something? Come on, I've been talking so much. Anybody else want to talk up to him before I do? No. Okay. You say on I think Twitter or someplace else. Look, you just like you said. Now you have to do this content. Your big investment is putting that content out there. You're going to be a warm call. Okay, that's how you get through. Now, but you still have to learn sales. So I have a question in here. How do you learn sales? You sort of did an overview of it. What does that mean? Should you take a sales course? What are you talking about? What's the follow through from the social media to the actual conversation?
I think number one, I think you got to be really clear on what's your offer, right? Like, what exactly are you offering to people? How are you differentiating yourself?
If you're a headhunter, what is there? What is there? Well, I'll find somebody for you,
Yeah, but like nowadays, think about how buyers are. Like, it says something about your process that's better than the other headhunters out there. If you're selling a retainer, how are you selling that? Are you showing that you value your time enough to get money up front? Are you showing that when you take a retainer, the fill rate goes up 80, 90%? So I think I get what you're saying. I just think like buyers now, they're a lot more data driven. You got to show them something. You got to show like, this is why I'm better than the 10 other people in your inbox. I got it together. I can produce results. This is when you're going to see results. And then you're walking them through past clients, past success stories.
Shouldn't they be able to see your process and understand what you're doing from all the content that you've published? Or is it just little, hi, everybody, it's a nice day today. So they know your face, but they don't know anything about what you do. I mean, come on. They should know from what you're posting about what you do. Am I right or wrong?
I think you're overestimating how much people really care. Like, no. You want people to know who you are from your content, and you want awareness so you can set them up for the sales call. I think if you're just talking about your process all the time on social, I mean, I just don't think they're going to care. Like, people are on social literally to entertain themselves. So you got to understand the mindset of people when they're on social media. No one is on social media. Some people say they're on there to learn. They're not. If they want to learn, they'll read a book or they'll search.
I disagree. I disagree. What you can do on social media, don't forget, First of all, I've had a show for like 19 years or 13 years to 14 years, whatever. Nobody watches my clips. This guy's got what, 300,000 followers on LinkedIn or something. He's big. He's much smarter than me. Okay, but I go to my Facebook group to learn. I mean, on social media you can learn in little pieces.
Yeah,
okay?
that's why they call it YouTube University.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think YouTube's not social media though. YouTube's a search engine, and Facebook. I wouldn't.
Fun.
A Facebook group isn't social media either. Facebook group is a community.
Oh, yeah, he's playing tricks with us with the definitions. Oh, what's social media? Okay, what? Okay, let me.
YouTube's like the biggest search engine in the world. I mean, it's not social media. You don't
love
scroll through YouTube. You just search for something.
But
maybe you scroll too short.
I feel like Pee Wee. He died recently, and I was in Marr. I feel like talking like him. Joel, before I forget, I got to ask you this question. What about TikTok? Okay, I read that you said, I was on a spree today. I just posted 17 TikTok videos. Is TikTok good for recruiters? I thought it was young teenage girls who were on TikTok.
My demographic on TikTok is 60% is over 25. I got 10% of my audience is over 55. And I've had leaders from massive companies reach out to, recently I had like an employer brand leader from EY reach out and say, hey, I follow your TikToks. I've had talent leaders, presidents of companies, founders. Yeah, everybody's on there. And then the great thing with TikTok is you can just repurpose it. So I've got basically a software that just takes it, posted on YouTube Shorts, that gets me another 500,000 views a month. Posted on Snapchat, gets me another 1 million views. I think like there's just these ideas. Like I can show you the screenshot with the demographics of the audience, and I think my under 18 is 0.01% of my audience.
Wow. Anybody else want to comment on TikTok? I just post on YouTube and Facebook, and I've even left Twitter, behind. I used to be a big Twitter fan.
You've done a lot of tweets though. How many tweets? I think you've done like thousands of tweets, and you still.
But I've been on since 2007. Okay, since you
look, you made a great community, and this is the thing. It's like you are the like if I was to take an example of somebody who's done really really well. It's you. You've done it for a long time. You've been consistent. You've built up a huge, like building up a Facebook group's tough. And you got an active group. I see you post the analytics of the activity. That's a big deal.
The recruiting animals is just constantly poking the bear, and that works very well for your group, man. You piss people off. It's like in elementary school if I was squaring up against Mario and I were about to get into a fight, the recruiting animal would be the guy in the back that would just push you from behind and then it would start.
True. I agree. I attest to that.
Well, but you people, Joel said lots of people hate him, but I find they hate me, but don't like me. Okay. Obviously he's got 300,000 followers on LinkedIn.
200,000.
But it took you. And what did it take you? I've got your stats there.
He got to 200,000 in 12 hours.
No, yeah, 3 days. Now it's been 4 years. Which nowadays, I mean, I've seen recruiters nowadays pop up and get 250,000. A recruiter from Google starts posting, they get 400,000 followers in like a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'll create this into a short. Now, what I'm going to do, we haven't given you a break to plug what you do. So you post a lot on LinkedIn, but the purpose is to get clients for your social media consulting service. Is that right? How would you describe what you do?
Yeah, so basically I work with mainly internal corporate teams. I run a 2-day workshop. First day, we're covering the basics, right? Like LinkedIn profiles, engagement strategies, how to make sure the news feed.
So frustrating.
Yeah, and it's changed a lot too. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't even like have a hyperlink on their profile leading them to somewhere that makes sense that they can track. So
yeah, I'm sure like the first half of whatever engagement he's doing is probably like super low hanging fruit.
It's the basics. And then I look at like copywriting basics, how to do a good video, and like just the different types of content you could post on LinkedIn. So that's day one. Second day, then we're looking at like, someone asked on here, like, what's the content calendar? That's what I work through. Like Monday, something non-work related. Tuesday, a news article, something that's going to impact your candidates. Wednesday, your open jobs. You know, how to do a good open job post, right? Tag the hiring manager, talk about the people in the team, get them involved in it, so you get in front of their network. And then Thursday, you're looking at like some employer branding content.
Ricardo,
What's up, Rich?
I can't hear you.
You just unmute.
Yeah. Rich doesn't know. Rich is making $1 million a year, but he can't turn his mic on. Okay.
Everyone's there.
He's got an assistant for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
I call the animal for my tech support.
Joel, hold on a sec. But you've
no,
also got, so Joel, I can do a better presentation of his service than he does. Okay, even though he's more successful than I am. Okay, somehow in a short time he's mastered what I tried to master over many years and failed. I have failed. Okay, no matter what he says, I've made zero. Okay, but here's the thing. So he gives 2 days of consulting to internal recruiting teams on their social media marketing strategy. How large are those teams, Joel?
They can range anywhere from team of 5 all the way up to a team of 400.
Okay, but then
Global
you do
teams.
follow-up. That's sort of the key. You keep these
key.
people, it's just like they're doing workouts, I don't want to go to the gym. You keep them going to the gym. Am I right about that?
Once a month sessions with a team. We're looking at content ideation. So we're looking at what's going on in the market, what a candidate's saying, making those
Ideation
content
is a
assignments.
bad word here. Like, we don't know what that means. Content ideation. What does that mean?
Coming up with the ideas. Like, what are you going to post about? So we just get in the
but
conversation
ideation, you
going.
can charge a lot
Who
more
knew
for
what he
ideation.
meant? Am I the only dummy here? Who knew what he meant? Content ideation. Mario, did you know?
I knew
I
it was
did.
an idea, but you can charge a lot more for ideation.
Ideation
and
sounds.
for content ideas.
Exactly.
And then honestly, it's again then just inspiring them, because a lot of times as a talent leader, if you're not doing it yourself, good luck trying to get your team to do it. And so I'm coming in there and I'm going, look, you guys want to see what inbound leads look like? Here's what my calendar looks like. Here are the 10 DMs I got today with people working for me. And then they go, wow, it is possible if you put in the work. But I know the worst thing of being a coach is when you work with a team and then you go check up a month later and no one's doing it. And it's just them. You just wasted your money. So that's why I'm big on accountability.
Hey Joel, do you just do it for internal recruiters and getting inbound candidate leads?
I mostly do with internal teams. Occasionally I work
They're the
with an
ones that have the
agency.
budget.
Yeah.
Okay, occasionally I work with agencies, but again, with agencies, it's a lot of it. It's like, hey, we want an ROI in a month. I got so sick of going, well, when am I going to get an ROI? And I'm like, look, I don't know how strong your LinkedIn network is. If you haven't been connecting with people intentionally, then I'm not in control of that. If you've just been connecting with random people for 10 years, if you've been connecting with candidates and people you've worked with in the past, and you've never created content, and then you start to create content and you got a strong network, you probably will receive results quicker. But again, those are the people who are less likely to do it because they're already billing a lot. So what you find is that agencies, the big billers, are like, I don't need to do this. But they're the ones that would actually be able to get more results quicker. But they're like, I don't need it.
Yeah. I had a guy call me yesterday about doing similar stuff. He wanted $400 per meeting he set up. And I'm like, dude, you are smoking fucking crack. Because those meetings had no guarantee of quality. They were just, the guy agreed to take a meeting.
I say pay it, but you have to be the one to decide whether or not that meeting qualifies as one that you actually wanted.
Well, I told the guy I'd rather give him $1,000 for a deal that gets completed. We both get the risk. I'll give you 2.5 times what you're looking for, but you got to have a little skin in the game. I mean, $400 for a meeting. I mean, I can sound out 100, emails and get a meeting.
What is it, lead gen? Is that what
He got shy, didn't he?
What's Rich Rosen talking about?
Yeah, lead gen. I mean, he's Joel's doing content, but it's all the same goal of getting.
Joel says if you can't create your own content, there's something wrong with you. He believes in what he calls organic content. Okay, don't shop it out to somebody else. like your virtual assistant. Am I right about that, Joel? You do
Look,
all your own content.
There's a lot of these services right now, especially with ChatGPT, where like literally the game plan is they sign up people and go, hey, we'll do LinkedIn content for you. And they're literally just entering it in ChatGPT and then posting it for you. It's $500 a month. That's a decent business model for them because you get 20 of those clients, you're going to be making some good retainers, but the results are useless. Like you have to be yourself. Like Rich, I saw a video you did for one of your sales jobs. There's nothing flashy there. It's just you talking. But you think about it, you're talking to people that know you, probably people you placed in the past, people you worked with. And you're doing it.
You should pay Joel to do it because
Yeah,
look at that tan.
Better looking guy. That tan, exactly. That tan's a very tan. It is. I think that the more natural you can write, like I'm not a great writer, but I'll post stuff and it gets a good response. But it's the hardest part is just keeping it going. Like Mark Whitby runs a program for recruiters to do this whole content, creation. It's such a huge time suck is the problem unless you're a gifted writer. Even with ChatGPT, it just takes a lot of time. That's the hard part.
Content calendar, Rich, would be an easy way for you to do that. Basically, you just pick out certain days you're going to do it and whatever important content you think is important to your target audience and just use the platforms you have. You don't have to be like anything. It could be other people's content even, that's related that you're applying, right? So you're giving it a different spin. And a lot of people are borrowing content from other people because everybody's learning off of everybody with crowdsourcing. And
Rich Rosen is one of the greatest talkers I've ever had on the show. I do all his content marketing. I post all kinds of short videos from him. Okay, but
even the best people can learn from other people.
Absolutely.
So if you think that you're the best and you're too proud or above getting help or learning from other people that are experts in certain fields, I'm not saying they're all actual experts. You'd have to vet that, of course. But I'm saying, like,
yeah, but think how much you learn from just rookies. When you're training a rookie or talking to a newbie, man, you remember, whether you're learning it or re-remembering it, it's fantastic. I mean, like, people that are, want to get into Pinnacle, that's what Pinnacle's all about. Like the Pinnacle Society, it's like everyone is always trying to get better about it, And like Joe, we're always looking for speakers. If you want to come speak on this topic, we always need
That's a good connection. He's on the board now. Okay.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. About 5 years ago, he arranged for me. He wanted to have the Recruiting Animal show for the Pinnacle Society. He gave me a guy's number and I phoned him and I left him a message. And he never got back to me. So I asked Rich. He said he didn't think you were worth it. Okay.
Yeah. At the time when there was a lot of screaming and yelling on the animal stuff, they didn't know.
There still is. Mario the Recruiter hasn't said anything.
No, the Recruiting Animal show used to be brutal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is like new Howard Stern. It's just not.
This is light.
I know.
Recruiting Animal light.
Jerry's not here. That's why.
Exactly.
But look, here's what I'll say too. Animal, like your content it's you being you, and like I honestly like. If
that's what he needs to change about it, though.
No, that's the game. That's the game plan. Like that's why
I was kidding.
You're interesting, right? Like, and this is something which, like, I think if you really want to get an audience and you really want to develop an audience, which not everybody wants to do. Right? There's different goals. Like just raising awareness is one thing to help you out with business development. Building an audience in a community, you got to do what you do. Is you just got to be interesting. Like people know when they watch your show, they don't know what to expect, right? People are on the show. They're like worried about being on there because what am I going to get asked? That makes it interesting though. That's why people
not the people in the real world, okay? Because here's the thing: it's not just me. I post Michael G Cox. He's so articulate. Richie Rosen, David M Marr. He's got clips.
Why didn't you say that about Rich?
Yeah,
Mario's got clips. Okay, they've all got. And from Steve Levy and Amy Miller. If they're on the show, I create these clips where it's not just scrolling. That you could learn in 1 or 2 minutes some really valuable information. It's not coming from me. Okay, it's them. Nobody's interested on LinkedIn. You get 1 or 2. I get absolutely minimal.
I know I find for agents and recruiters, like even like the posts that I do, the little videos and stuff I do, I get a huge response from them, but I don't often get a lot of clicks per se. because people don't want their boss
All
saying, "Hey,
DM.
I'm clicking on this. Why is this guy clicking on a recruiter?"
Exactly.
You know, so their numbers are funny. But you want to know the best thing I ever wrote? I wrote this rant about how stupid managers are. I got like 262,000 likes on the thing.
Okay,
That's one of the themes on this show. Hiring managers are the stupidest people in the world. Sorry if I don't want to hurt your brand, Joel.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of my. I mean, that was what something that clicked for me, right? Because I was creating a lot of content a couple of years ago about why recruiters needed to create content, and it was getting some decent traction. You know, a couple hundred likes a post. That's good, but none of like the agency owners, none of the VPs, they weren't seeing it. And I'm like, why are people not seeing it? And it was because not enough recruiters were liking it. I switched the game plan and said, you know what? If I put memes out there that recruiters will relate to, they're all going to like it. And it's not going to feel like something that they can't like. And that's how I got it. That's how I get in front of like VPs, because 10 people on their recruiting team like it. They see the content. They never engage, because what VP is ever going to engage on something where I'm like, hiring manager can't make up their mind, blah, 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 blah. But their recruiters will, and then it gets in front of them. So,
but do you find for Joel, like I would think you'd have better success on Facebook than LinkedIn hitting recruiters, because LinkedIn is so damn busy. Like, I mean, I don't barely have time to look at my feed ever.
He's got
anymore.
200,000 followers, Rich. The real world is contradicting you, okay?
Well, but,
there's only my group has plateaued out around 12,500. Okay.
I think Facebook, like, I mean, I do put all my videos on Facebook. I think I'm just too late to the game, like, because the organic reach is just so bad on Facebook without paid ads. But like LinkedIn, I mean, I'm probably doing at least 1 million views a week on the platform.
That's huge.
That's all memes.
Take a look at
the Rich's
Twitch as well. That's another good site.
Which one?
Twitch.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna raise my hand.
For streaming. Raising your hand.
Michael G. Cox
Hey, Rich.
Formal.
To Rich's point, he got a bunch of likes and all this stuff. I'll bet that rant, it might have felt good, but what is probably doing better for your business is the ones that don't like, don't share, don't do anything. They just see it, but then they start sending you the direct messages.
Yeah.
And so you got to be careful about what metric you're measuring or trying to work towards.
Exactly.
Those people are called lurkers.
Lurkers, and look, just consistency over time with it, and just ignoring the likes. People will know you, right? And I think like other creative strategies, do a podcast. Like, you really want to get known in your industry, start another and you think, another podcast.
You know what? I got to tell you. No, hold on a second. I've watched Joel. You can't say I didn't do any research on you, because obviously I'm quoting your own stuff back to you. Okay. So I've watched the podcasts you're on, and they're really good. Okay. They've all got, I was the first one to like them. Okay. There's
recruiting
like
is no joke.
Yeah, there's nobody.
The podcast. I mean, the actual recording of the podcast.
Not your podcast. Where you're a guest with these other people. There was one where you were with an English guy with a long blonde beard. That was pretty good, right? And the one you did with Ben Mina, and nobody's liked those podcasts on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? I've gotten leads off the podcast, because again, it's just like.
Well, that supports what Rich says. Nobody's liking them, but they get in touch with you.
I'll do
a podcast with you. We'll get you some likes and leads.
Yeah, I look, and the podcast, like, I run it live on LinkedIn, so that's why I get the most
let
views.
me answer this question, okay? Before I want people to have a chance to attack you, okay? So I can turn it into everybody. Make me feel bad. Everybody's saying, that this show's like bland now. It's not exciting anymore.
Attack me.
We need the after show.
Yeah,
and Jerry's yell back.
Yeah, I used to get in trouble. I wasn't on the after show, but people would blame me for what you guys said. Okay, like I got threatened to get me kicked off of Blog Talk Radio. Okay, here's what our good friend Joel Lalgee, know-it-all, says. He says companies don't do this. The candidate says, "Hey, this job looks really great. I think I'd be a great fit." Okay. The company says, "Yeah, you look very good. Come and interview for us." The candidate says, this is in somebody's direct messaging, "Can I ask what the salary is?" You know, you can give me a range. That would be fine. The company says, why don't you tell us what you think it should be? The candidate says, okay, based on my current level of experience, how does this much money sound? And the company says, thanks for your application. Unfortunately, we won't be taking it forward at this time. Okay. And Joel says, that's terrible. But everybody who's always saying now, get that cleared right up front. Knock out those candidates who, aren't the right money range.
Look, I'm just saying, like, the way that DM came in, it was like, he basically, that was the exact text that came in. So that's actually from a candidate. And basically the point is like, you're like wanting to make a connection with them. You have the conversation and then you just send them like an auto reply saying like, hey, unfortunately we can't move forward. I mean, I guess that was the point of it. Like, he's just like, I already invested the time. You reaching out to me. Don't ask me how much money. Why don't you just tell me up front how much it is? And then I'll make the decision to back out. So that's why that posted. I think, like, looking back, it probably isn't that bad. It was just a funny thing to get sent through DM.
Okay. But you're not against, are you for or against telling people the money?
I mean, when I was recruiting recruiters in 2021, I would just let them know, like, here's the range. There's going to be some flexibility with it, maybe 5-10%. If you're good, let me know if you're interested. Because it was just, otherwise, it's like, what do you do in the screening call? You're going to set up half-an-hour screening calls for people that just want way more. I don't see a reason why not.
You tell them the full range or the bottom. Amy says the bottom. Some people say the middle. No one says tell them the top. Okay. What did you do? Did you give them the full range and say, look, you have to be Superman to get the top?
I'm probably like a middle in the range and then saying there's some flexibility, but you're going to have to knock it out of the park and show that you're the top candidate.
Don't you just ask? I mean, why not just ask these guys or sit back? Where do you need to be?
Yeah, that's just a DM. I'm just saying that's like the DM lead that I have. Yeah. And the call, then it's like, well, what are you targeting? Where are you looking at?
No, I agree with you. But before you even get on the phone, if that's their first question and the note back to you, it's like, where do you need to be? And, usually they're just tire kickers. 90% of the time when that's their question, they're just tire kickers. They're guys that, if someone's going to, give me a retarded plan, a ridiculous plan, you're going to get, they'll get back to you with something stupid or they'll look, but it's not worth the time usually once that's their lead question,
Yeah, I mean, this was like, it was kind of challenging because I was recruiting recruiters. So it's like with recruiting recruiters was just and by the way, that's the worst. That was my least favorite of all recruiting was recruiting recruiters. In 2021 is just a nightmare.
Oh God.
A lot of times companies also don't really have good data on what certain positions pay, like highs and lows. And they supposedly get their information from these consulting companies that like gather all this information. But in my experience, a lot of times when you work on these roles, especially new roles or very specialized roles, they have no clue what they pay. And a lot of times the initial job posting that has a range of, I'm just making up a number, 60 to 100K is way out of market value for what they want. So either they have to make changes in what they're looking for in the job description, or you have to take the data and showcase it, basically interview people yourself, talk to 20 people, say, hey, where are you at today? What are you looking for? And show that data and say, these are the people with X amount of years experience that are what you're looking for, and this is what they're making. And we're clearly off the mark by 20% or whatever it is.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I always think too, like if that's just the data of what people are making, logically, anyone who's going to make a move is going to want more. So if you know what they're making, just multiply that number by 10%, 15% for them to make a move. Wouldn't that be your range?
Okay, I got another one before we run out of time. Okay. You say personal branding hack for 2023. Talk about how successful you are. Get leads. Try it. Okay. Well, you also reposted about someone who said he went to a recruiter and the recruiter showed him how expensive his watch was and told him how much money he made, and he didn't like it because the guy was a vain braggart. But here you're telling us,
well, it's a joke.
Brag.
I mean, it was a joke. Like,
I don't get your jokes. Obviously, everything, I say, well, this is wrong. He said, well, you didn't get it. I was being, sarcastic.
No, the joke is like, it's like personal branding. All right. Like, this is what it's become. It's like a year ago, and I played the game too, but this is how the personal branding game is, right? Like a year ago, I wasn't doing this. And 2 years ago I was broke and I had like nothing, and now look at me. I got a house. I got this. I got that. I got this. Right? It's like and you're just telling people how successful you are. That's what personal branding has basically become, for the most part. Which is not what I teach people to do. What I teach people to do is just add value into the marketplace and stay consistent with it. And grow your awareness.
Mario, question.
Animal missed the sarcasm completely.
Yeah, I don't get jokes.
I also know that Joel does not give money to the poor or people that are begging unless he's recording it.
Yeah.
That's the only time. I gotta make content out of those good moments.
Mario, question.
Nothing. I'm just keeping quiet listening to this.
You were keeping quiet
Nothing.
today. I guess he just agrees with everything Joel's saying, or else he doesn't want to tell him what he thinks for real about it. Okay. Anybody else got a good question for Joel? I mean, this is practical stuff. Anybody wanna? I got a million. I mean, I watched his stuff. Okay. He said when anyone in the DMs calls me dear, it's almost an automatic no thanks. Okay.
Is it like just deer?
Just dear.
Hello, dear.
Hello, dear. Yeah, I get a lot of those messages.
Those are the best. It's not even deer recruiting animal. It's just plain deer. You know, the person's maybe using Google Translate or something like that to write to me. Okay. Don't sign people up to your newsletter without permission. That's one of your rules. Is that true?
Yeah, it just is annoying. I hate it.
The only people that have time for newsletters are no offense, are not recruiters. If you're guys that are doing marketing, have time for newsletters.
Okay.
Look, I mean, I think I do. I mean, I think my whole thing is now, if you're good at writing, I mean, I think a newsletter could be a good way to.
They are, but
get
it's
in
all
front of people.
It's like the content, everything else. To do it on a regular basis is just impossible. If you're trying to recruit, trying to get jobs, you're trying to, it's like, no offense. I mean, it's all it's all great marketing stuff. It absolutely is. But 99% of recruiters don't have the time to do content, let alone a newsletter or this letter or that letter, and do post daily content. And like all that stuff is awesome if you can get it done, or you just want to avoid the phones.
Which is look, and that was my whole goal in doing content. I was so sick of not the phone necessarily, just outbound sequences. I just got so sick of reaching out to people with them not knowing who I am. And now, it's like I do outbound, right? Like this is probably a surprise to people, but I do outbound because it's the way that you control the business you got coming in. And now I'm at a 45 to 50% response rate for like TA leaders. Because my offer is simple. I want to meet with you about a training for your recruitment team. I'd love to get you on my podcast. I got 200,000 followers.
Awesome.
They're all like, yes, I want to get into that.
Great message.
But that's hard to do. But I think you got to figure out then, what are you giving to somebody? Do you have something of value? Are you able to
You don't use the phone. You don't use the phone, just email. Is that what you're saying?
I don't even email. I just DM on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay. So what's the subject line? Is there a subject line?
Just a DM.
He's probably connected directly already.
Yeah.
And the other thing I've done is I'm not connected with anybody outside the TA industry. I'm not connected to I'm connected to minimal people outside of the US. I went through and cleaned my whole network. Because I no way am I going to pay $10 to in-mail people. Waste the money.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah, great.
But that's where, like, I mean, I think if I was a big biller, this is the way I'd be thinking about it. You do put some time into creating content. You start getting those inbound leads. You pick the ones you want to work with, give the other ones off, and run some splits. And then you turn your $1 million desk into $2 million without doing any extra work.
But Rich, I've got a question. Anybody else can answer as well.
Well,
he seems like a nice guy. He's very personable, and he seems bright. Yeah. Okay. I think he could be a big biller, don't you? Not that impression. But obviously, he struck out in recruiting.
But a lot of people don't want. It's a bit of a different cycle and skill, and he could be a great recruiter. Who knows if he puts his mind
I mean, he seems to be. I would hire him based on this 1 hour show.
Yeah, and I mean, absolutely no offense by this, so don't take it how it's going to sound. But listen, he could be a great recruiter. Anyone can be a great recruiter if they put their mind and energy.
No.
Yeah, they can. You got to have the right mindset and attitude. It helps. You got to have the skills to do it and hone those skills.
So by saying that, you got to have the right mindset and attitude. you've already eliminated a massive piece of the population.
There you go.
So
But,
animal, no, not everybody could be a good
right.
recruiter.
But you get the point. But like having great marketing skills, you know, it's a different. It's like being a great mechanic. You know, you can know how to fix a car really well too. I don't know how to do that.
Did Michael G. Cox just agree with me? Something wrong with him?
Delete it.
He didn't.
Cut that out.
He's on the shrooms. God. But Joel could be a great recruiter. You know, he sounds like he's got a great marketing program. Who's the guy down in Florida too? Like Ryan something. He does all video marketing. He doesn't do any cold calls either. He does all videos. He's got a whole program too. I forget the name. Roger or Ryan or something like that. But the same thing. It's a different skill. It's like, where do you want to spend your time? He likes doing marketing and making this content and training the internal guys how to do things, which is awesome. It's just, it's what he likes to do. Doesn't, if you want.
And too, it's like the other thing too is like, affiliates are huge, right? So I'm getting into the affiliate marketing. That's a nice revenue source. I still will do some like recruiting deals, but it's more on business development. So I get a lot of people reaching out going, hey, can you help our team? All right, great. Yeah, I'm still affiliated with Hirewell. That's the agency I was with last. And I had moved into a business development function. So I get leads. I still hand leads off to them and get commission. So I think though,
what is your affiliate thing that you're doing?
Are you just finding candidates for them or?
No, like clients will reach out to me and say, hey, I've seen you. We'd love to, I'd love to partner and do some, I'd love for you to recruit these roles, right? Because I got a big audience. And then I say, well, look, I'm not doing the hands-on recruiting, but here's a team that I really trust. I worked for Hirewell for 2 years. Trust the team. They always execute. I introduce them, and then it's just commission split.
So are you, how long did it take you to build your audience, build the network up?
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
4 years of just, and it's like testing things out, seeing what works. I'm getting more into now too, like the B2B influencer marketing as well. So like, obviously there's a lot of TA tech sourcing companies that need help getting their name out. So I do rev shares. I'll post
Rich,
for them. Any leads
we started coming along his content. Well, like he already had everything running smoothly. We weren't around for the posting nudes and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's way in
I
the
still
past.
do that. That's on my OnlyFans. So,
That's exactly
that was just the feet.
Yeah.
Okay, I got two questions before the show's over. Number one, you post on weekends on LinkedIn as well. Am I right?
Okay. Yeah, sometimes I will. I post.
Sometimes. So not really. Okay, so you don't do 7 days a week because on you saw my stats on the Facebook group. The weekends are way down. You're posting for nobody, right?
Sunday night's a great time to post.
I think now I just post whenever I feel like I want to post. And if I need to take time off, I'll take time off. If I don't, if I'm feeling inspired, I'm just going to go for it. And if I'm not feeling inspired, then I just repurpose posts. So if
you're not one of these guys who are going to be 2:03 in the afternoon on Thursdays.
No. Because it's all about the quality of it, right? It's like,
but I find too, you got to know your audience too. Like I know sales guys are looking at LinkedIn on Sunday nights. Great time to post.
His problem is that on Sunday mornings when he wakes up, he has to go back and delete everything he posted at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I would encourage all of you guys, like just why? I mean, I think the big thing for me is if I talk to any business owner in the 70s and I said, look, I got a way that you can get your name out there for free, they'd be like, sign me up. There'd be no asking questions. What's the ROI? They'd be like, what? I don't have to pay a TV ad or I don't have to do a newspaper ad. It's literally just a free way to get your name out. And then you go and do the rest of your stuff, the cold calling, your cold emailing. I think the danger is when people are pitching it like it replaces all of that. That's just kind of stupid, right? I mean, it's like
that's the impression I got.
The good recruiters are lazy.
I think
that's what I thought you were selling.
It's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. It's just the time consumption of it is truly a hard thing for me to grasp my head around. Because I was trying to.
Rich is already working night and day, so he can take 2 months off during the year.
What about these? What about these video snippets that we get from here? Like you get that. Animal makes them for you. You post those.
Yeah, but those are about recruiting. Those aren't about sales positions or anything like that.
Yeah, but the VP of sales who wants to he needs help with recruiting, he'd listen to it and go, "Wow, this."
They're great. I don't know. They're great. I think they're terrific. I'll pat myself on the back, but it's not even me.
Adam, but you're my PR guy. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to start.
Yeah.
posting
Okay. You made me forget. I had one final thing to say. Oh, okay. I wanted to thank David M Marr. Okay.
for turning his video on twice.
Yeah. Okay. No. First, the first thing is, okay, I just want to say that David M Marr last week, he says, you've got to start asking people to be guests again. You're just too boring on your own here with the same guys every week. Okay. Well, okay. So I started asking people. I did. So we've got a guest next week, Sarah Frank. Okay. But Lowell signed himself up. Okay. I got to say, okay, maybe it was the affirmative spirit was in the air. David M Marr from up in heaven. he sent the messages
behind the curtain, the wizard from behind the curtain there.
So MarioTheRecruiter.com, David M Marr, CornerstoneSearch.com, TheSalesRecruiter.com.
I know where this is going.
And Joel Lalgee, Lalgee. He's all over the place.
But not on the website. Not on the website.
Thanks very much. I enjoyed having you. Did everybody else? Come on, this is your chance to criticize him if you will.
Come on, last shot. Come on. I'll be at RecFest. Anyone who's going to RecFest in Nashville, then you can really go at me. All right, like
we're going to sing that Nashville. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Say hello to Shannon, Joel.
I will.